What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And this one, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 in Minecraft. This is part 51, and in this one we're going to be finishing off this room here and getting the hallway on the other side done, along with the vent to set us up to do the electric puzzle, and that like hospital-looking room. That room will be fun, hopefully. But yeah, just the vent here. And that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. If we haven't already, it's time to add Pipe Hell to the list of hell rooms I've made. I feel like I called statues that though already, so I don't think I can do that. But I'm gonna say it again anyway. You want to start by getting out the following. It's not even pipe related, actually. Polished deep slate stairs. Polished deep slate slabs. Polished deep slate blocks. I didn't get this far in my thought process. Blue stained glass panes. Red nether brick. And anything else? I don't really think so at this point in time. I don't think anything else quite will be of use to us. So there's one fairly obvious point we can make something, and you can probably find it just from where I'm standing here. This spruce plank, just like random bit of rust on the wall. The row of tough bricks above that, like the first full row, you want to place just a row of polished deep slate stairs going across with a row of slabs on top. Like so. That is the first one. Fairly simple, I would say. There's another one down, and it's... We'll mark it in a minute, because I don't actually think that is probably good to try to do yet. We can do the top set of things, though. So if you head all the way up to the top little hole on the front wall here, this one, you want to count to the third tough brick above it, and then over by one to this one. And you want to place a polished deep slate stair here facing into the wall. It's also probably preferred you have the same thing on the other side, also 2 blocks off the wall. So there, I think, and that should be the correct height. I'll just check. Yep, cool. You'll extend that, both of those, towards the opposite side with a block. 3 slabs. Oh, it's not a slab. Block, and there will be an iron bar here you'll have to break, which also means any iron bar above that is getting broken. And then 3 slabs again. Block. Stair facing towards you. Block. Stair facing into that block. Then another block. 3 slabs. And a block again. So, let's try to make sense of this. The blocks that are next to stairs, not this one, this one's an exception. The ones that these stairs are facing away from specifically, you want to place stairs on top of those blocks that face the same direction. So essentially here you see you have these 2 stairs in the block in the middle, how they're facing towards that block. The blocks outside of them will have stairs on top. And then this guy, just leave alone for now. I think it just gets brought up, but I don't feel like checking right now, and I'm not sure, so... You'll then bring each of those stairs in with an upside down stair. Then up with a stair. Then in with an upside down stair. Up with a block. And then in with an upside down stair again. Yeah, okay. So upside down, right side up, upside down, block, upside down. You won't be quite to the top. Just ignore the fact that you're not close to it, because it doesn't matter anyway. The remaining polished deep slate blocks, which do include those back ones, you'll just extend up by 3, because, yeah, I said so. Which I think is only 4 of them, actually, yeah. You'll connect the top row of these weird triangles together with upside down polished deep slate slabs, and that should give you the finished product for these that you want. Which looks like that. I missed a block, though. So it actually didn't look like that. It should look like this. Nice. It'll just basically be a bunch of triangles. Sounds familiar, probably. There's been a million of these. And they never stop. There's more in Chapter 3. Literally, the walls are these in Chapter 3. Anyway, we're gonna bite a fun little bullet here, and we're actually gonna use the bottom for the, bottom. You basically want to copy these a block off of the bottom of the tough brick. So I'm going to trace this row of blocks down here. I just know I'm 2 off the wall, actually, and then I'll place, again, 1 block off the bottom. I'll place these rows of 4. And so it should be the same thing here, where you'll bring those rows of the bottom of those rows of 4 towards me with 3 slabs. Block. Stair facing toward me. Block. Stair facing towards that block. Okay. Then block again. 3 slabs. Block. 3 slabs. Block. Stair. And if I explain this too fast or anything, you can go back to the first time I explained it if you want to hear that one again, because that one probably is going to be better. Anyway, that tends to be the case. If I do that ever, like in a tutorial where I explain something twice, generally if you're like, if I do it the second time, you're like, what? And you're like still kind of having an issue, you can just go back and rewatch that first bit, because that'll be probably better. On top of the blocks next to stairs, you'll place stairs facing them. Again, make sure that it's not the one in between those two, because that one's a little bit of a weird exception. And then again, in with an upside down stair, up with a stair, in with an upside down stair, up with a block, and in with an upside down stair. As I mentioned, see, that part was kind of fast, because I ain't saying all that again. Honestly. Hey, you'll connect to that row of 4. How nice. That's not it. So close, though. Maybe next time. I did actually get it the next time, so I guess I'm technically not wrong when I say that. Texturing in this room, I do want to talk about that real quick. It's nothing crazy, you technically don't need to, because it's a pit room, it could classify as differently. Again, extend each block, then up by 3 that isn't included in that, and then you'll connect the top rows over all together with upside down slabs. But yeah, you can get away with it. I figured I would, because I had textured pretty much every other room in this chapter, and I was like, why would I make this one the exception? So yeah, it does get textured. Cool. On the back wall, make sure you know which one that is. That's this one. You want to from, really either of these, it doesn't matter which one. And you want to take the 3rd block above these, and you're going to place a row of upside down polished deep slate slabs just going across like so. Above it, you want a row of upside down polished deep slate stairs. If you care, well, we'll figure this out anyway. If you take the andesite stairs on the back wall here, this little row, you want to count it down by 3, and you're going to break this one and replace it with a red nether brick. Place a blue stained glass pane off of it and extend it down by 1. If this is lined up properly, you'll have 2 tough bricks below it. If you don't worry about it, frankly, because it's not a huge deal regardless. Just, that is something I feel like I should point out, because it is kind of relevant. In line with the little beam we just made here against the wall, you want to trace to roughly the center of the room here. And you want to just place a polished deep set. And I think it's like there. You want to be out of the 2 center blocks. You're going to be on the more front. Are you even in the center? Hold on. Yeah, you're on the front more of the 2 center blocks, which is this monster spawner right here. Alternatively, in line with these glow item frames. And you'll place a row of polished deep slate blocks in line with the upside down stairs with a row of upside down slabs below it. From the right side of this thing, you can just literally the first block off the right of polished deep slate that overhangs, you'll place a red nether brick in its place. You leave a gap of 2 extending right and have another one, and this one will have a blue stained glass pane on top. That pane you'll extend right by 1, and also with this red nether brick you'll have a pane behind it. And then with the first one you place, you'll have a pane in front of it, a pane up diagonally left from it, and then I guess from that pane you'll actually go down diagonally back, and then down one. And that's kind of the rough out. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but that's what I have. And this is like the blood that is presumably Huggy. I don't know how we would have gotten here from the pit room, because even if my direction's, a little bit off, I mean, these aren't going to be even close to in line, and I don't really, well, I don't have pit room right now, but it would be right there. You can see where that is. It'd be where that room is, I think. Actually, no, it wouldn't be. No, yeah, no, it would be. Never mind. That still would line up that way. It's not because of exterior. It's not actually supposed to be there on the exterior, but it would be there on that. So, like, these won't be in line regardless. I don't really know where that came from. But anyway, or, like, how they would... I guess he fell into, like, a conveyor or something that took him here. I don't know. Theorizing on a tutorial video. What if I become? Anyway, clear your inventory and immediately get back out red nether bricks because I lied. Actually, I did that intentionally, I swear. You also need red nether brick slabs. And then you want bamboo planks. Warped planks. Probably the slab version of either. Yeah, you do. I'll have the slab version next to the plank versions just because it'll be easier. And you want the trapdoor version of actually all three, except because there's not red nether brick, you're going mangrove. So mangrove trapdoor, bamboo trapdoor, and warped trapdoor. So, starting from the bottom here, you want to take the left side. And we're going to take this left little triangle beam. And just behind the polished sheepside beam that goes this way, you're going to be on the second polished sheepside back. And you're going to place red nether brick extending up until you are... Where are you in terms of that? You're one block below the monster spawners, which is going to be right there. It's not a huge number anyway, but whatever. Place a slab on top. Then extend forward with a block. Up with a slab. Forward with a block. Forward with 5 upside down slabs. Left. Forward. Left. And you should be 2 blocks off the corner there if that's important. Directly above that row of red nether brick slabs, coming off of the front wall here, you want to place a row of upside down warp slabs. It's a half a block above. And this actually goes all the way across, front to back. Also from the red nether brick row, you want... If you take the, I guess, this portion of it where it starts to curve down, you want to take not this red nether brick block, but the second to last one, which is this guy with the slab on top. And off of it, you actually want to place a bamboo plank. Extend it all the way forward with upside down bamboo slabs, along with that plank back with a slab. Down with an upside down slab. Back with a plank. Back with a slab. Down with an upside down slab, and then all the way back with upside down slabs. The first, not the, I guess, frontmost upside down slab, but one back, it'll be this first lone guy. You'll place a red nether brick to the side. You'll extend it up by 1 and then up with a slab. Forward with a block. Forward with an upside down slab. Up with a slab. Forward with a block. Forward with an upside down slab. Up with a slab, and then you should connect forward from there. The original red nether brick row you'll bring all the way down until where your floor should be, which is one lower than these. Nice. There's, I think, still more on this side. Yeah, so... That's so cringe, though. Do we have that row warped? We do. So, I'm trying to figure out, because we need the stair versions, excuse me, of each of the 3. I believe you can get rid of the slab version of each of those and just get out stairs. So, red nether brick, bamboo, and warped. On the left wall here, where you have this andesite stair row here, the furthest forward, you want to just place red nether brick. Just however much, it doesn't matter right now. Extending back, you'll have a gap of 2, and then you'll have warped. Behind that, gap of 1, bamboo. These will all get brought up to the same height, and it's... Anything that's in your way, both up and down, you should destroy. But I don't think there's anything down anyway. It's really just like a couple of signs and stuff up. But you'll hit the point... This row of warp slabs here that'll appear, you want to be a full, or I guess a half a block taller than it. And then you'll place a stair on top. Like so. And you can kind of see where that lines up overall again. And then down you'll go to the bottom of the wall. It's so many pipes. I don't understand. Why do we need this many pipes? Like, what are we doing with 70 million pipes? Genuinely, I get the facility's big and all, but you still don't need this many. Like, this room, unless there's, like, rooms that are specifically for pipes, then, like, sure, but can you not take the extra 2 feet inside your walls to have your pipes instead of just out in the open like this? I guess in a room like this, that makes sense, but... Well, actually, no, because how are you supposed to access them? This does not get you far enough over, except for, like, maybe this one you could reach, but you drop your wrench, it's over. You might kill someone on the first floor, who knows? Just bonk them right in the head with it, honestly. Anyway, that should be all of the non-fence slash trap door pipes. Yeah, there's fence ones. Those will be the last ones we do, though, so I wouldn't worry just yet. On the front wall, this row of warp slabs, if you're looking at the front wall, you want to take this row of warp slabs here. It's not the uppermost one, it's this one and the mix of all of it. To the right of it, a block. We gotta add that too. Oh, get rid of just all of your non-trapdoors and get out. Polished deep slate stairs. Polished deep slate slabs. Warp fence. Bamboo fence, and I actually think that's it. I don't think we need mangrove fence. But on this front wall here, you'll take the beams down here, and you'll actually count up to the... Well, it's the same light? What? Same level as the other one. So if you just, like, take this one and walk back, you'll place a row of upside-down polished deep-slate stairs off the wall here. With your row of upside-down polished deep-slate subs below. Didn't realize I was there. Anyway, to the right of this warp slab pipe as I was mentioning, you want to place bamboo trapdoors going all the way up against the wall that are open against it. This will take a while to place as per usual. You do want to stop, though, at some point here, and I need to check where that point is. I believe it's actually, yes, one higher than the warped sign button here, which you see is there, and then you'll literally just go right by one into the wall. Nothing fancy. Nice. There are 2 more on the front wall, and these kind of just randomly get cut off, so... They go from the same little beam down here as high up as they can. There's one all the way in the corner on the left that's made of mangrove, and then if you leave a gap of 4 extending right, you'll place one of warped. And if you actually head up, you're going to be like 5 or so blocks down from that. I don't know the exact number, but I can give it to you. Let me just fly up there real quick. It is 4 off, so I think that's actually... Is that where I placed it? Yeah, that is exactly where I placed it. Wow. And yeah. Of course. Again, if you have signs and stuff in your way, you just want to break them. It's not really a huge deal, especially with, like... Well, especially signs. Certain things you would want to leave, but signs is not one of them. And I think the warped avoids everything as well. No, there's a sign as well. Yeah, there's that sign. As I mentioned in the last bar, you don't need this one, so... Oh, yeah. Nice. Gotta get the spam fingers out. On the left, or I guess the right wall, turn to your left. We'll say that. And find this bamboo button. It's actually not, it's a bamboo sign button, but you get the point. If you head left of it a little bit, you want to take this row of 4 light gray stained glass. And over the leftmost 2, you'll place mangrove trapdoors open up against the wall. The right one you'll extend up by 1. Then right by 5. Then up by 4. Whoopsies. Right 1. Up 1. And then all the way right until you physically can't place anymore, which will be this trapdoor. So just kind of leave the gap. Should probably connect, but it is what it is. While we're here, to the right of the bamboo sign button again here, you want to leave this gap of 1 where the trapdoor is and place a warp fence here. Gap of 1 moving right, bamboo fence. You'll bring these both all the way down, and you'll actually go through this. You won't break anything, but you just kind of want to trace through the 2 blocks, and then below just go all the way down until the end of the wall with the respective fences, which I think those 2. Yeah, ignore the little gap. If you want to, like, make the polished blackstone a block, you can. But for me, it doesn't matter a ton. Another wall done. There's that wall, and then there's the light on the ceiling, and that pipe, which I missed. Actually, there's two lights up there. Anyway, turn to your left again, I guess, to this wall, and from the row of polished cheapside here at the bottom, you want to head to the right. And just on top of it, extending left, you want to place 8 warped trapdoors open against the wall. You'll then extend up 1, left 1, and then you'll go all the way up until you hit the next beam. And again, sign, get this thing out of here. I don't want to see it. And I'll hit the beam right, not yet. There. The top trapdoor you'll also bring left by 1. Count all the way left from this and then down by 1. And from this tough brick going right, you want to place 6 mangrove trapdoors again open against the wall. They all will be. Then extend down 1, right 1, and then from there you'll just go all the way down until you hit the same beam. These beams are just like cutting off everything. If you want to bring them through the beam, you can. Because I have the row of upside down slabs at the bottom for the correct thickness, I just didn't worry about it. But I don't think it would look bad if you did. I just didn't. Anyway, above this, still on this wall, I think this is the last wall, right? We did the other trapdoors on that wall even? No, there's not. Okay. Well, you want to head up to the, like, top mangrove sign button here. You want to head to the lantern above it and the iron bar above that, the first one, and you'll extend all the way right. Just not extend all the way right, count all the way right. And going down against the wall here, you're going to place 7 bamboo trapdoors. Nice. You'll then go left 1, down 1, and then from there you'll extend all the way left until you crash into the left wall. You notice you'll just narrowly avoid the warped here, which is good. If you're having problems with these lining up, I wouldn't worry about it a ton. As long as this works fine, like, nothing else really matters. I tried to make it as close as I could to accurate, but obviously that's kind of easier said than done when I can't see anything, you know? Anyway. Yeah, that's all the pipes except for the one up here. So you can actually clear your inventory and get out the following. Bamboo slabs, nether brick fence, sea lanterns, and spruce trap doors. Make sure you're looking at the back wall. Just kidding, look at the front wall instead, because the front wall will make more sense here. You have this, like, these 3 little openings here on the front wall. The middle one of the 3, which is this one, and is also the furthest left, you want to take the bottom half of and count right from it by 2. Off this block, you're going to go back with 7 upside down bamboo slabs. Right 1, back 1, right 1, which is towards you, I guess. And it should look like this. It'll connect into the wall. On both sides from the top beams. You can also do this on the bottom beams. I know you'll only have placing 1 fence because you can't go low enough, or we don't go low enough. But if you take the frontmost row of polished cheapside, which is this row, you'll count back by 2 and place a nether brick fence here. Then leave a gap of 2, nether brick fence here, which should be off that stair. Wow, I missed that one too. You want to copy this on the other side. So it's this stair and this slab. They're just 2 blocks apart from each other. Extend each of those fences down by 3. And then down with a sea lantern. Connect these sea lanterns together, and then off these sides of them, you'll place spruce trapdoors open up against them. That's pretty much the room done. Now, if you get out black concrete and a block above the tops of the walls and a block below the bottoms, you'll just fill in the ceiling and floor with black concrete. You can extend this as far as you want, and you can add the black or gray stained glass effect. I think black gives you a more dark fade out, but gray gives you more of a fog look, whichever you prefer. I think even black for the top and gray for the bottom would make sense. I don't know. I removed the glass in pit room when I redid it because I wanted to highlight those details more. But with a room like this, where it's kind of very, like, you know, just everything is detailed, like, you know, pipes everywhere and stuff, it doesn't necessarily matter that much to have it, you know, visible, so. And I think if you do extend lower, you should just add more random pipes and stuff and beams. There's a lot of cross beams. Mainly up, you can see like a bunch. For those of you who do have the game, you can always look up in that room and just kind of see what I'm talking about, or even down. I think up you'll notice it more, though, rather than down. Just gonna ignore Bailey barking, it's fine. It's not my problem. Probably the mailman. You know, that dog mailman stereotype is very real. Anyway. You should end up with this, and I think it looks fine as is. Again, if you don't want to texture this room, this is probably the most, I'd say, like, you don't necessarily have to room. But if you do, you need the following. Polished black stone bricks. Deep side tiles. And deep side bricks. And in that order, those three, you want to start from the, again, I guess, top and bottom, and you're just going to place, like, rows. And these should be longer. Like, maybe 3 or 4 is the minimum, and, like, 12 would be the max. So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 right there. I think 9's a good amount. Just, like, doing that. And, again, I think trying to keep them sort of to where, I guess, the one thing I'll say is, if you have, like, 2 rows like this, you never want to make, or you want to make sure that you don't have 2 areas that are level, or 2 blocks next to each other that are level. That's the one thing I try to do with texturing, to where you have, like, a lot of variation between the rows even, so it just looks more grimy, I guess, and, like, more droopy. And then on the bottom, it's literally the same thing, just inverted. So you start with polished black stone brick at the bottom and work your way up with deep side tile and then deep side brick. And just, yeah, something like this. And again, if you can have all of them connect, that also works, but I don't really care about that too much. Like I will have here, you see these deep side bricks are not connected, so it's not a huge deal. But yeah, just something like that. And you want that all the way around the, again, base and top of the walls. I'm not going to worry about that too much, because, again, I textured this build once, and I think once is plenty of texturing. The hallway before, by the way, floor is the same since it's stone. Walls, I just have, like, light gray wool and light gray concrete pattern. Just kind of same ordeal. Concrete pattern is the bottom block. And yeah, it doesn't look great, but in the, I think it's the next area, the texturing gets a little bit more complicated here. I can actually check if it is this room. Yeah, it's weird, because we essentially, the way that I texture it, you can't, there's no, like, a good base block to choose here. You'll see what I mean. We'll pick light gray wool, because light gray wool is going to be probably the closest, but there's not really a good way to explain it. And then after that, the, like, hospital room, I think only the hospital room, is, like, a step up from that. It's like, you have 2 different whole choices going on. It's crazy. Which is why I end up doing the walls last, which I might do just because of that, I'm not sure. But anyway, once you're done texturing, you can head out of that room and just straight across to the other side. And we can start on this area. So, get out the following. Cyan terracotta, light gray wool, stone, polished andesite might be useful, polished andesite slabs, yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, lime concrete, and a singular mangrove sign. We'll get rid of those fairly quickly because they're pixel art, like, immediately. And then we'll get out of these stuff. So, starting from this doorway, or in this doorway, you want to walk through and turn to the right. And the second polished andesite over, this bottom one, you'll extend over with 2 cyan terracotta. Yellow concrete. I'm going to get lime there, not yellow. Cyan terracotta. yellow concrete, and then 2 cyan terracotta. Between the 2 yellow, this cyan terracotta, you'll extend up with a lime concrete and then a yellow concrete. That top yellow, you'll place a mangrove sign off of, and then left and right of that, you'll place yellow terracotta. Extend those yellow terracottas up with yellow concrete. Extend then each cyan terracotta up by 3 and just fill in the wall to that height with cyan terracotta. Opposite sides, same distance. It's the second polished andesite over, and you'll just make a, what is it, 7 block out? 7 block out. That's so grammar. 7 blocks out and 4 rows up of cyan terracotta. I'm not going to give you a number here. What I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to tell you to bring the stone out from the floor. 4 rows in total, so it's the middle 2 from the door and then 1 out either side. And just bring it out as far as you think is necessary. I'm going to go about there. You can see where I am. I'm like almost in line with that little area of the vent where the fan would be, or the, I guess, iron bars would be. No, I guess it would be the fan, yeah. So I'm just a little bit short of that. And as we bring the walls back, we'll adjust it as we need. Worst case, if you go further, you can end up leaving it because we have the iron bars and stuff, but yeah. Get rid of those final 4 materials you had and get out the following. Iron bars. Bamboo signs. Pale oak trap doors. Yeah, I guess it's actually levers. Sure. So behind the cyan terracotta block, you want to place a row of light gray wool extending out from the sides that is 4 blocks tall. The top 2 rows you'll connect together with light gray wool, like so. I think wool looks better overall, but than concrete, I mean. On the left side beyond this, you want to, outside of the stone row, you're going to place 15 light gray wool extending over. Just like so. Beyond that, in the floor, you're placing 2 polished andesite. And then, not in the floor beyond that, you're placing 4 light gray wool. And I have to extend my stone 2 more rows back to be at the same line back as that. But for you, that might not be 2. It's just whatever to get to that length. You'll bring the light gray, or you'll place a row of light gray wool on the other side of the stone that's up diagonally out that just, covers off that side of the hallway. Extend each light gray wool up by 3 there, and over the 2 block gap, you'll connect the top 2 rows. And yeah. This will get us to the hospital room, which is good. We won't start it, though. Probably not. No, we'll do that one, I think, last of this section anyway, so. Because we don't necessarily need it as much. Then again, we could use it to make the vent line up, rather than using the vent itself. The row of the wall, or I guess just fill in the ceiling a block above all this with stone. Both areas, this back area and the little front area here. I was gonna, classify that separately, but I don't think it matters anyway. Because I feel like I have it as stone, but I could be wrong, I don't remember. At this end row, you can seal off the end of the hallway with iron bars. I really wish we went this way. It would have been so cool. Would have been better than what we actually did. On the left side here, where you have the polished andesite at the top half of this area, you're going to place upside down polished andesite slabs. Right of the polished andesite in the floor, you'll break 2 rows of stone, and you'll place a 2x2 of pale oak trapdoors at the top half. Doesn't matter the direction they face necessarily. You can't place them up here because then you can't crouch through this, so, I guess you could do it like that, but that's just cursed, frankly. I will also go to the underside and I'll place blocks under them, just so 1, if you open it, you are met with stone, and 2, so light doesn't shine through. Not that it matters as much on the floor, but it still does matter. Anyway, if you're looking at the vent opening here, left of the top block, you'll place a bamboo sign. Right of it, you'll count to the third over, and then count up by an additional 1 and place a bamboo sign there as well. On this wall, you'll go all the way left, and you want to leave, what is it, 5 blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 open. 4th, 5th, and on the 6th, you'll place a pale oak trapdoor open against the wall on the floor. Get rid of something and get out N-rods. You just need the levers. That's the only other thing. And head back to the first little area here. And if you leave 2 blocks off of the front, which is where we would have entered from, in the center 2 blocks, you'll place levers. It should point that way towards the door. Crouch and place off either lever 2 end rods extending over, and then off of those, you'll place levers flicked back into those end rods, like so. In the next area, is there 2 lights or 1? There's 1. That's very odd. If you go all the way back to the vent opening, you want to, if you're in line with the front half of it, you'll count forward by 3. And in the center 2 blocks, you'll place levers pointed towards the direction we came from. Again, crouch and place off those 2 end rods, and then from there you'll place levers on the ceiling again. That should be into those end rods. Cool. Walk backwards because you're cool like that until you're back into this area with the Bunzo pixel art and clear your inventory. Get out the following. Spruce slabs. Warped trapdoors. Oak slabs. Tough slabs. Chiseled bookshelves. Barrels, this is so cursed. Chest. Spruce trapdoors. And warp slab? Yes, for now. So in this first area, immediately to the left of the door in this corner, you'll place a warp trapdoor. Extend it back with a spruce slab, and then if you just count that all the way back into this corner, you'll place a tough slab. Count right by 3, and in this corner you'll place a chiseled bookshelf. It should always face into the wall. Generally, I don't like to see the, open part of it. Bring that chiseled bookshelf towards you with an oak slab. Then get rid of your tough slab and get out oak trap doors, and head through the doorway again into the right this time to start, and you'll place a warp slab here with an oak trap door behind it. On the left slab heading, or left side heading back, you want to start on this very first block and place a barrel facing up with a spruce trapdoor on top. You'll have to crouch place to place that trapdoor. Behind that, chiseled bookshelf can face really any direction but right. I guess back wouldn't be ideal, but you still could. Behind that, a chest, I'll have it facing left. And on top of it, you'll crouch and place an oak slab. Behind that, spruce slab. Heading all the way to the opposite side of this hallway, you'll take the right side, and on the first full stone you can place on, you'll count forward an additional 2, and then place a warp slab, oak trapdoor. Still highlighting this oak trapdoor, you can clear your inventory and get out the following. Warped button, polished basalt, tough brick walls, and item frame. In front of this oak trapdoor, you want a warped button. Behind this warp slab, you'll place 2 polished basalt facing up. Above the second one, you want an item frame on the wall. And on the left side heading forward, you'll place a polished basalt facing up, and then 2 tough brick walls. And it should give you this. And that's this hallway done. Now, texturing for this hallway is very strange. What I would recommend actually doing is getting out a placeholder block, and underneath the bottom row of light gray wool, just place some placeholder blocks. I'm actually going to go through this one a little bit more in depth. I'll go through it more probably in depth with the hospital room than I will here, but I'll still go through it fairly well, hopefully. You need light gray concrete powder and light gray concrete. Basically, you want to consider the drooping pattern here, except you want to do it spanning the whole wall. So the middle is light gray wool, the top will be light gray concrete, which won't even be every block, and then the bottom will be light gray concrete powder, which will kind of give you something like this. It's hard to explain again. I kind of just have to show it, but it looks like this, basically. It looks better in the hospital room because it's a larger area to work with. And it also goes into stone, which I think looks nice. But yeah, it's kind of just like that. Hopefully that makes enough sense. Stone is the same as it has been, where you're texturing it with stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, cobblestone, and andesite. Cyan terracotta, I would actually leave it untextured, or just texture it with gray concrete powder. At least that's my current method. But I have in it deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, and polished deep slate. The one tip I'll give for you generally, and sometimes you obviously can't avoid it, but try to texture the gravity blocks last, or like, you know, gray concrete powder you don't want to do first, because, well, let's say I do this, and then I want this block to be deep slate brick. It's like, well, gotta destroy that anyway. Again, sometimes it just doesn't work that way, and you kind of have to deal with it. Especially if you, like, on Playco exterior, how you would have the white circles, which would use white concrete powder, and then if you had to break the red below it to texture that, sometimes I would have an issue personally. But yeah, generally I try to do that because I just dislike dealing with the gravity blocks. Anyway, yeah, do I want to end there? That's exactly 40 minutes. I think we'll keep going. We'll do the vent. So, get out the following. Polished andesite. Polished andesite slabs. Sea lanterns and glow item frames for now. And from the polished andesite in the floor here, you want to leave a gap of, well, I guess you can take the left side of it and extend it out with 2 polished andesite slabs, and then 4 blocks. Extend the 4 blocks right a row, and then the back 2 polished andesite will extend to the right by 7, along with left by 5. Then that end 2x2, you'll extend back by 10. On the left, I'm in. And then from there, hold on, I just want to make sure that actually was 10. The, like, end 2, you'll do 2 directions with. You'll go right by 5. And from that 2x2 also, you'll go back an additional 6. Then from the back 2 rows there, you will go right by 6 again. Nice. When you are filling in the sides of this, you want to make sure you leave 1 row off the end of each of the points where the vent actually ends, which are basically the 3 points of the E that we just made. But you want to place polished andesite up diagonally out from these blocks. Here where it connects into the front wall, you kind of just want to make sure you have both sides. Obviously, you only have the slabs here. I'll explain the slabs in a minute, but they're not important yet. And again, as you see there, I'm leaving a block extra just because the wall will be there, and same thing here, and then up here. So it should look like this. You'll place an additional row of polished andesite on top. I'm like thinking ahead right now about how many rooms. Honestly, there's not many rooms left overall. Like we're starting to hit that point to where I'm like, if we do 1 room apart, it might be like 20 more rooms, which I mean is still a lot, don't get me wrong, but considering the pace generally isn't that, that's pretty good overall. We're going to walk around the vent and add lights. So starting from the beginning here, before we add the slabs, this will be easier. You'll just trace this straight back, and the bottom right polished andesite of this like back wall, this one will be sea lantern with glow item frame off of it. Turning left, this end here, the right row of the 2, you'll place sea lantern with glow item frame off of it. If you head around here, basically where the first right turn is, to the left, the first row in line with that, you'll place sea lantern glow item frame. Also on this side of the vent, this wall, you'll place one of the very back polished andesite there. you'll fill in the ceiling with upside down polished andesite slabs, but these slabs will go that extra block out, so they will end up in line with the wall. You will have to coat the top of these with something at some point. I would recommend not doing it yet until we have the walls in place, so we actually know where they are. Although they really are just over these end ones. It's not like it's a huge deal, but if you overfill, or you could just use light gray wool, actually, that would pretty much do the same thing for you anyway. Nice. One of these is different. It's the middle of, again, the E. This one here, the center row, you want to also place upside down polished andesite slabs in, like so. This one's kind of just chilling behind a TV. Heading back to the beginning of the event, you can actually just, you know, crouch into here. I have Elytra flying in is probably the best way to get in, but if you added this row of slabs here, you'll bring it down with a row of blocks and then a row of upside down slabs. And I will bring the blocks either side of it here just down a block to kind of fill it in roughly. Obviously, there's still the gap, but this is like the spot where the vent would fall down. I have it like this because I wanted to make sure you could still walk across this to get to the other side so you could, you know, see this part. But I also did want to make sure that you could get down as well, and this was just a good way to do it, make it like hanging off. Anyway, yeah, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 51 of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 complete. What did I don't know what I just did. I hit F6, and I'm scared that, like, blew up my computer or something. I don't know. Thank you all so much if you guys did enjoy this video anyway. Hopefully next part we can finish the entire electric puzzle, and then we'll just have the hospital room for a part. And then we'll be down to when we encounter, Angry Mommy. Anyway, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.